the natural causes of climate change. So you will need to have your worksheet open alongside this video so that you can easily click backwards and forwards and complete the work as we go along. Okay, so first of all, what do you know already? What knowledge can you recap from the lessons in the first term of this year? So there are 4 pictures to help you. These 4 images are on your worksheet. I'm going to give you a couple of minutes. If you pause this clip, I want you to annotate these images with everything you can remember about how they impact climate change. Okay, so if you pause your video clip now for me, get any annotations on, any recall, any knowledge that you can for me. Perfect, welcome back. So you should have lots of annotations, you should have lots of knowledge on that clip for me now, and you should know everything that you can already about our natural causes of climate change. So what we're going to do, I'm going to get you to watch a video clip. So the video clip is attached to your instructions on this lesson in one of the other files. I want you to watch this video clip for me. Just watch the clip up to 2 minutes 50, and I want you to add anything extra that you can to your images of your natural causes of climate change for me, please. So if you pause this clip now and then go onto your different attachments, watch the video and add anything in pink ink for me, please. Perfect, welcome back. So you should have lots of extra information in pink, and hopefully you've got some of those keywords and a bit of a refresh as to what we were looking at to do with our natural causes of climate change. So I'm now going to go through each of these natural causes with you. And if you can add any extra information in green ink for me, please, so I can see what you've added in and what knowledge you've refreshed upon. So the first thing we're going to look at is our sunspot theory, or solar output. The exam board could refer to either of these in the exam question, so they could talk about either sunspots or solar output. So what this means is that there sometimes are fluctuations, so either increases or decreases in the amount of radiation that is coming from the sun. So sometimes the sun is hotter or colder. If there's a high amount emitted, so a high amount of radiation emitted by the sun, then it can lead to warmer temperatures. So this tends to happen when there are black spots on the sun, or sunspots, and these cause higher amounts of radiation to exist. Okay, the second cause of natural climate change is our eccentricity. So eccentricity is the key word that the exam board specifies in regards to this. So make sure you know what this means. But all eccentricity means is the path that the Earth takes around the sun. So it sometimes can be more circular, as you can see here, and sometimes it can be more elliptical, so more squashed in a kind of more squashed circle. When the sun is in a more circular kind of rotation from the Earth, what this means is that it's an equal distance from the sun, meaning that the climate tends to be much more milder. So we have more warm summers, and more cooler winters. So there's not much variation. This is what the UK is in now, and it's something called an interglacial period. However, sometimes the Earth's orbit changes and it becomes more elliptical, as you can see here. And when this happens, the sun and the Earth are further away from each other, and it causes much more extremes in temperature. Okay, so by extremes we mean that it is much, much, much colder than it is currently on Earth. So this leads to our glacial periods, so our ice ages that take place. So the last one of these was about 11,000 years ago, when we had our last ice age. So pause the video clip now for me, add anything extra in that you need to your worksheet in green pen. Perfect, so you should have completed those 2. We're now going to move on to the final 2. And these 2 are very, very similar. So volcanic activity is your large volcanic eruptions which occur, and your asteroid collisions are when you have large asteroids, large rocks entering the atmosphere and hitting the Earth. Both of these cause the climate to temporarily decrease, so to become much colder. And the reason for this is because the sun's rays are blocked out, which means that less radiation can reach the Earth, causing temperatures to cool down. So the reason this happens with volcanic activity is because large amounts of ash and dust are thrown into the atmosphere, blocking out that sun. Whereas with asteroid collisions, the dust and the dirt that is thrown up from this collision blocks out the sun as well. So if you pause this video clip for me now, add anything in green pen that you need to your answer. Okay, perfect. So that finishes off our green pen and our fix-it section of this exam, on this lesson, which is the knowledge section. We're now going to move on to the exam practice section of the exam. So this question here was taken from one of the past papers. I believe it was the 2018 exam paper. So the question says, explain one natural cause of climate change. So we're going to break down what this question actually means, just like we do in class. So explain means why or how something is happening. It's not saying what is happening, it's saying why it is happening or how it is happening. So it's a much higher level skill. So you need to be able to say why something takes place. The amount of points you need to make in this answer is 1, as it's asking you for just one cause here. So if you give 2, you will not be able to get that extra mark for that second reason. Okay, and then we look at our keywords in the question. So first one is natural. So you're looking for your natural causes, and natural is something that is not caused by humans. Okay, and then the final keyword that we have in this question is climate change. So this is the change in the average temperature or precipitation. This can either increase or decrease over time. So we've been through what each of the sections of this question means now. What we're going to do, we're going to have a go at answering these questions using all of this information. So on your worksheet, you should have the question written out. If it helps you, you can annotate around that question now, add anything in that's going to help support you when you come to write an answer to this question. I'm going to get you to pause this clip for 2 minutes because it's a 2-mark question, so you're going to have 2 minutes to answer this. Once you unpause the question, we will then go through an answer and we will give yourself a mark and have a look at what the exam board said and what the specification said about the answer to this question for me. So if you pause your clip now, and I want you to answer this question in 2 minutes. Okay, perfect. Welcome back. You should have an answer to that question. We're going to go through the mark scheme as to what the exam board suggested you needed to answer these questions. I have taken this directly from the mark scheme. So we'll look at what kind of got you the marks and how kind of your answers can be improved. So the first section is talking about volcanic eruptions. So there is one mark available for identifying a natural cause of climate change. So if you've written volcanic eruptions, that is 1 mark. If you wrote asteroid collisions, that is 1 mark. If you've written about sunspots or solar output, that's 1 mark. If you've put changes in the Earth's orbit or eccentricity, that is your mark. However, you can only get 1 mark for stating one of these, because in our question it's asking you for one of your natural causes. So if you give yourself a mark for that now for me. Right, so the second mark comes from an explanation, so how this has led to the climate changing. So you need to make sure that your explanation refers to that climate change. So you can see here, volcanic eruptions cause cooling, so the temperature to decrease, because the solar radiation is blocked by the volcanic dust. So there needs to be 2 parts to this. The first one is what is happening to the climate, so whether it's got hotter or colder. The second part is why this happens, so the blocking of the volcanic dust, blocking your solar radiation. Okay, asteroid collisions can cause cooling as large quantities of ash and dust are kicked up into the atmosphere again. Okay, sunspots on the other hand, so sunspots can cause warmer or colder periods as more or less solar energy is released to the Earth. And then changes in your orbit or the Milankovitch cycles can cause cooling or warming of the Earth as the amount of solar radiation received by the Earth varies. So have a look at your answer for me. Give yourself a mark out of 2. Thank you for watching today's video. If you enjoyed the clip and found it useful for all your geography revision needs, please hit the like button below. If you want access to more content like this, more revision playlists, more exam technique and feedback, please subscribe to the channel. Regular content will be added and updated to help support you on your GCSE journey.